held. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, is it right that Donald Trump took some of his inspiration from you, and you'd talked about Mexican rapists before he was talking about them?
Yes, well, I've tried to push the immigration issue on a lot of Republican candidates. A few in particular I had long conversations with and sent advance copies of my book, Adios America, to. Donald Trump saw me on an interview on Telemundo, Univision, with Jorge Ramos the week before my book came out. I was on my way to the airport in Miami, and I got an email from him asking for an advance copy of my book. He has been good on this issue before, but my book has a lot of startling facts in it, and it is carefully footnoted and documented, and I think it is the first time there was a lot of discussion about a lot of the criminal cultures being launched on our country that the country just has no immunity to. We're used to our criminals being, dumb, killing their spouses for insurance and leaving their DNA all over. A lot of the cultures that are coming into the country have all kinds of different criminal habits, in addition to, child rape, gang rape, massive Medicare frauds, insurance frauds, and we have no immunity to it.
And just tell me this, because I'm interested, have you had contact with European counterparts who think in a similar way to you, the National Front in France, for example? Are you talking to these guys, or are you completely separate worlds?
No, I mean, I guess I wish Europe the best. Used to like to go on vacation there, but I'm an American and I really care about America. And as we're finding out with the candidacy of Donald Trump, so do a lot of Americans.
Right. Now, look, I want to talk about the language and the tone of the campaign. Now, you have used words referring to Muslims or to people of Arab descent like raghead and camel jockey. Is that right?
Well, it was a joke, and it was a funny joke, and people laughed. I think you really have to give the full context of my remarks.
No, but it's interesting that Donald Trump hasn't, I think, used these kinds of terms, has he? He has steered clear. Now, why do you think he doesn't use that language? Why he's short of the tone you would adopt?
No, I think you're wrong. I think we use similar language, and we get attacked in the exact same way, which is completely lifting little snippets out and acting as if it was said with earnest anger, which is why 2 weeks after Trump announced, I brought a couple of my Hollywood friends who were speaking out to a group in LA, and they were very skeptical of him. They walked out of the room saying they laughed more than they do at comedy clubs. He's extremely funny, and when you see these clips of him, or of me, where you're cutting off the laughter, you're cutting off the point, you're cutting off the joke, it's just one of the many ways the media lies.
But look, it's really important, this. I mean, because I think in much of Western society, people would avoid making jokes that use racially disparaging words, wouldn't they? And I'm just wondering whether you think it is acceptable or would be helpful to the Trump campaign if he ramped it up and started using racist language more overtly.
I don't use racist language. Wow, when you have to go back to a CPAC speech from 2006 and take 2 words from a joke out, it was a joke about political correctness and things going on in the world at that time. And when 10,000 people in the room laugh, it's funny. Right. But look, the point is, what Donald Trump is doing is not only, I mean, the big issue of his campaign is immigration, 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 but a lot of that has to do with, this is always the pushback. We try to talk about what's good for the country, what's good for the people living in the country, and the only response is to hear epithets. You're racist, you're a bigot.
No, well,
Donald Trump is challenging that too.
No, I understand that.
He's challenging that PC regime that people are really fed up with.
No, but I'm getting at a slightly different point, which is whether the tone that you adopt, and which I think he has been slightly less adopting of, whether that tone is helpful to the cause that you're trying to promote. Whether, for example, using terms that disparage people or that are rather, coarse in the way you characterize people, it's whether that makes those people better American citizens and better disposed to you and less happy to think of you getting killed in a terrorist accident, terrorist outrage.
Well,
it's whether these things work or not.
I call it funny. This is, you know, the New York Times euphemism for funny is sophomoric. Other people find it funny, and apparently it is a good way to get the message out. And I'm an 11-time New York Times best-selling author and paid a lot to give speeches. People do listen to me. So yeah, of course, I mean, look, Winston Churchill gave speeches. Of course, he was self-promoting. That's how you get yourself heard. And, you know, to be nitpicking a joke from 8 years ago just shows you the pushback whenever we try to talk about immigration, which is driving down wages. I mean, every one of your topics tonight, it is a question of immigration, dumping more and more poor people, needy people, demanding people on the country who sometimes flip out and commit mass murder. Oh, no, but we can't talk about that.
No, I've not said, sorry,
I just want
to be clear. I have not said you can't talk about immigration. I no way would say that. Look,
but
let me just
we're talking about my language.
Well, because that was the language that you used, not about the immigration. Let me just ask a different point about Donald Trump, because there's one thing I really don't understand about him, which is the stuff he says about his daughter, Ivanka. Now, maybe you can help me, but it's stuff like this. Yeah, she's really something. What a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, you know, her father, ... Or if she weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her, and references to her in Playboy magazine. What's going on there? What is this guy talking about?
Oh, come on. He's just being funny, saying he has an attractive daughter.
What's more creepy to you?
Again, that's a quote from many years ago.
Maybe I'm just humorless.
He's famous for dating models.
Maybe I'm just humorless.
No, it's self-deprecating.
What do you think is more creepy?
He's famous for dating models. It's self-deprecating. He's saying, I have a beautiful daughter. A lot of fathers say that about their daughters.
You're against gay marriage.
He says it in a funny way.
You're against gay marriage. What do you think is more creepy?
Yes.
Two gay men who loving each other, getting married, or a 69-year-old talking in that way about his own daughter? Which is more creepy?
He's not seriously talking about dating his daughter.
You don't find it creepy?
Oh, my gosh. I thought we got our sense of humor from the British. You are being so humorless all of a sudden. This is a self-deprecating thing. Look, he's famous for dating models. He has a wife who's 20 years younger than he is. He says his daughter is pretty. And again, you are nitpicking a joke rather than discussing the important issues of the day, which is Donald Trump is soaring in the polls because he's the only one talking about immigration, something the American people have been asking for 40 years. And you better watch the debate tonight, because after this debate, there's going to be nobody else on stage, and Trump is going to have to start doing card tricks or juggling or something, because they're going to be wiped out.
Ann Coulter, thank you very much for joining us.